Welcome to our US briefing show, folks. Today, we've got some exciting space news. China has launched its first asteroid sample retrieval mission, Tianwen-2. This ambitious project aims to collect pristine samples from a near-Earth asteroid by 2026 and bring them back by 2027, potentially making China the third country to do so. It's a big step forward in exploring the origins of our solar system and expanding China's space capabilities. Stay tuned for more cosmic adventures. Moving on to a somber story, a family trying to cross from Canada into the US tragically froze to death in -38°C weather. The smuggler behind this deadly operation, dubbed Dirty Harry, was sentenced to 10 years in prison, highlighting the dangers of human smuggling. The case is a stark reminder of how greed and desperation can lead to heartbreaking consequences. Our thoughts go out to the family. And in political news, a federal court in New York has blocked President Trump's sweeping tariff plan, ruling he overstepped his authority. This decision challenges the president's ability to impose broad tariffs under emergency powers, affecting global trade and U.S. relations. It's a significant legal victory for those wary of executive overreach and could influence future trade policies. Please continue to stay with us for the full story. Al Jazeera reports that China has launched its first spacecraft dedicated to retrieving pristine asteroid samples, marking a significant milestone in Beijing's interplanetary ambitions. The Long March 3B rocket carried the Tianwen-2 probe from Sichuan to approach the near-Earth asteroid 469219 Kamualawa, a celestial body believed to be a fragment of the Moon, with the mission set to arrive in July 2026 and return samples by November 2027. This endeavor positions China as only the third nation after Japan and the United States to undertake such a mission, aiming to shed light on the formation and evolution of asteroids and the early solar system. The mission's comprehensive goals include collecting asteroid samples, exploring a main-belt comet, and studying their physical and chemical properties, with the potential to make groundbreaking discoveries about our cosmos. China's expanding space program also encompasses lunar exploration, with robotic landings, sample collection, and ambitious plans for crewed lunar missions by 2030, alongside the operation of its own Tiangong space station, which stands as a testament to its rapid advancements in space exploration, rivaling the U.S. efforts and signaling a new era of international space competition. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reports a tragic human smuggling case where a family from Gujarat, India, perished in the brutal cold while attempting to cross the US-Canada border. Led by Harsh Kumar Ramanlal Patel, who was sentenced to 10 years, and accompanied by the driver Steve Anthony Shand, the operation involved smuggling dozens of Indian migrants into Canada on student visas before crossing into the United States. The story vividly recounts the harrowing scene of the family freezing to death in -38°C weather, with the father trying desperately to shield his children from the blistering wind, and highlights the tragic consequences of greed and human trafficking. The case underscores the dangers faced by migrants and the ruthless exploitation by smugglers, with the court emphasizing the unimaginable loss of innocent lives and the defendant's blatant disregard for human life. The Associated Press details the pardon granted by President Donald Trump to Louisiana rapper NBA Youngboy, whose real name is Kentrell Gaulden, after a series of legal battles involving gun charges. Gaulden, a prominent figure in the hip-hop scene with multiple chart-topping albums, had been sentenced to nearly 2 years but was released from federal custody after serving time and was subsequently granted a presidential pardon. The story paints a vivid picture of Gaulden's tumultuous legal history, including his possession of firearms despite being a convicted felon, and his rise to fame with hits like "Outside Today." The pardon not only frees him from the restrictions of probation but also symbolizes a significant moment in his career, allowing him to focus on his music and personal life without the shadow of legal consequences. The Associated Press also reports on South Korea's economic struggles as its central bank cuts interest rates for the fourth time since October, aiming to bolster a sluggish economy battered by global trade tensions and political instability. The Bank of Korea reduced its key rate to 2.5% and sharply lowered its growth forecast for 2025 to 0.8%, reflecting concerns about weak domestic demand and slow job creation. Despite easing trade tensions, the lingering effects of U.S.-China tariffs and recent political upheaval, including the ousting of President Yoon Suk-yeol, have hindered economic recovery. The report paints a vivid picture of a nation grappling with external pressures and internal instability, with stock markets reacting positively to the rate cut, yet underlying economic challenges remaining formidable amid geopolitical uncertainties. The South China Morning Post vividly illustrates how lingering tariffs are stifling China's aviation ambitions, especially in the realm of Boeing aircraft. Despite recent reductions, tariffs still add millions of dollars to each Boeing jet's cost, making Chinese airlines hesitant to place new orders or accept deliveries, which are already delayed due to supply chain disruptions and the residual effects of the pandemic. This hesitation has led to a significant slowdown in China's aviation capacity growth, shrinking from an impressive 15.4% annual increase before 2019 to a modest 3.1% projected until 2028. Furthermore, China's domestic aircraft production, represented by COMAC C919, faces its own hurdles, with delivery numbers having in early 2023 likely affected by tariffs and market demand. The intertwined global supply chains involving the US, Europe, and China are strained, with delays and parts shortages threatening to extend aircraft maintenance cycles and further dampen industry recovery. The Associated Press details the legal and political upheaval surrounding President Trump's attempt to impose sweeping tariffs under the guise of emergency powers. A New York federal court decisively ruled that Trump overstepped his authority by invoking the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, to justify tariffs on nearly all U.S. trading partners, including China, Mexico, and Canada. This decision halts the tariffs Trump imposed in early 2020, which aimed to address trade deficits and other issues under the pretense of a national emergency, claims the court found unsubstantiated, given that the U.S. has maintained persistent trade deficits for decades. While some tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos remain in effect, the ruling significantly curtails the president's ability to unilaterally impose broad trade taxes, emphasizing the constitutional power of Congress over tariffs and marking a major setback for Trump's trade policy. Yahoo US emphasizes the broader implications of the court's decision, framing it as a pivotal moment that introduces legal uncertainty into the U.S. trade strategy. The ruling underscores that Trump's expansive use of emergency powers to justify tariffs was an overreach, and it signals a potential shift toward more restrained presidential authority in trade matters. Companies involved in global supply chains will need to navigate this legal landscape carefully, possibly accelerating shipments to avoid the risk of tariffs being reinstated upon appeal. Although the court's decision leaves some tariffs intact, it casts doubt on the legality of broad, unilateral trade barriers, and experts suggest that this legal rebuff could slow negotiations and reshape U.S. trade policy, emphasizing the importance of congressional oversight and due process in future trade actions. South China Morning Post highlights how recent U.S. political tensions have put Harvard University's international student admissions at risk, prompting quick responses from Hong Kong universities to offer unconditional admissions and support for affected students. Yet, despite these efforts, many Harvard students remain emotionally attached to their alma mater, facing psychological and logistical hurdles in relocating to Hong Kong. The article advocates for Hong Kong to adopt a strategic, forward-looking approach by attracting elite overseas universities to establish campuses or collaborative programs within the city, inspired by models like Duke NUS Medical School and NYU's campuses in Shanghai and Abu Dhabi. Such initiatives could allow students to experience Asia's growth firsthand while ensuring academic continuity amid geopolitical uncertainties. Hong Kong's existing successes, like CUC's Shenzhen campus and HKUST's Guangzhou campus, demonstrate its potential to regionalize and internationalize higher education further, with prospects of establishing overseas campuses in North American and European cities with significant Chinese communities, and deepening partnerships through dual degree programs. These strategies aim to reinforce Hong Kong's position as a resilient, global higher education hub amid a volatile geopolitical landscape. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.